The picture postcard has been around for nearly 100 years. The term picture postcard has become part of our language. It's used to describe any beautiful scenic photograph. But how are real picture postcards defined by someone who shoots them for a living?
Picture postcard is actually, I consider it the smallest type of publication. It has an illustration and it has descriptive copy. And it has to fulfill a purpose, whether it's to illustrate an interesting scene or place, or to sell a piece of merchandise. It's like a miniature, very miniature book or brochure. What I try to do when I take a photograph or a postcard is, if it's a place of interest, for example, the idea is to show the location and show the structure, and to show it in a very interesting way, but without losing sight of what it really looks like. It has to not be so artistic that you can't recognize what it is. On location, we've switched to the 2 1/4, 3 1/4 format. And that way we can use 120 size Ektachrome, and we get 8 exposures on a roll.
After the composition is set and Jerry has focused on the ground glass, the roll film back is placed in position. A number of bracketed exposures follow in quick succession.
Now I know from many, many times over that the exposure for this should be about 100th of a second, between 11 and 16, but we will bracket it tremendously because I'm paranoid about good exposures. We'll give it half stops, 2 above and 2 below. Okay. One sort of thing that I run into very often is that you might find a very interesting structure, and the scene itself is just lacking. It's lacking something that might show a little depth or give it a dimensional quality, and sometimes you have to fake something to some extent to do that. Perfect tree to take up that empty sky area. Since I don't have any cooperation from the birds. Okay, that's good. Now we just bracket, bracket, bracket.
The first postcards were actual photographs introduced at the opening of the Eiffel Tower. At a time when letter writing was still a luxury, the penny postcard provided cheap communication. You didn't have to say much, there wasn't room to write much, and the picture could tell some of your story for you. Popularity increased as the lithographic process replaced the photographic process, until a little after the turn of the century, this country engaged in postcard mania. Millions of postcards continue to flood the mails, and the demand for new postcards continues.
After I get what I consider to be a great picture with all the elusive qualities that we're looking for, and then we produce the postcards, and they're put out for sale. The bottom line of the whole thing is when somebody walks over to the rack and picks out that one particular card to buy it. That's the bottom line.